everyone, and welcome to Travel Diary number 8. So, good news, no crazy mini haul this week because I had other things to spend my money on. Stay tuned. Except for I did buy this today, only because the last time I was at Primark, I saw it and I was debating on getting it, decided not to. Over the past week, temperature kind of dropped a lot and I realized it's probably a good investment because I actually only have one other sweater, big sweater, and it's a turtleneck, 10 pounds, and I needed it. Yay! Alright, so last Thursday, nothing happened. Last Friday started the most interesting trip I've been on thus far, that I shall thusly name The Magic of Disneyland Paris 2K16. Woo! So me, my roommate, and a friend of mine all really wanted to go to Disneyland Paris, which we did. It happened. It's a thing. The issue is getting there, getting through customs, getting to the park, and having as much time to spend at the park as possible before leaving and getting through customs and all that stuff. Getting there on a train from the airport, blah, 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 blah. So we ended up going and getting on a plane on Friday at 1:50 something, getting to Paris at 4. Our ticket to go to Disney was for Saturday. Me and my friend slept at the airport. We were there from 4 o'clock till when we left for Disney at like 9:58, because that's when the train left. So that was fun. Number one, airport floors are cold, so sleep on the benches. Number 2, airport benches are uncomfortable, so be prepared. We also slept in shifts to avoid getting like mugged or like kidnapped or having all of our possessions stolen. So that was a good idea, but it meant like you slept 2 to 3 hours at a time. The first night there was a couple of people next to us, probably homeless, who were making food in a crock pot while we slept. That was fun. And then we went to Disneyland. It was amazing. So it's been a long time since I've been to Disney World, and I've only actually been to Disney World twice. And I've never been to Disneyland in Anaheim. I've never been to California. It's too far away from where I'm from. So we went on the Haunted Mansion, obviously, because it's Halloween season and you need to open with that. Indiana Jones ride was closed, which was kind of a disappointment, but I've never actually been on it, so that's fine. It took us an hour to get on that Peter Pan ride. The illusion though, the optical illusion of like flying up through London and through space and into the sky was extremely well done. So totally worth the wait. It's a Small World was amazing. It's always amazing. I'm glad it existed. We went on Space Mountain, which was 10 times better, in my opinion, than the Space Mountain in Disney World, but that's because it's so much more like a regular roller coaster. Like, it reminded me of like Rock and Roller Coaster kind of territory, which one of my friends didn't really like, but we were like, whatevs, get over it. We went on the Rock and Roller Coaster as well, and she was like, okay, bye. My roommate went on the Tower of Terror by herself because neither me nor my friend wanted to be dropped from an elevator, so that happened. I really like theme parks because you get to stand in lines where all of the details are so well thought out. We were standing in line for the Buzz Lightyear like laser ride, and all of the like windows had giant, like they were fake giant screws because they were screwed in with regular screws, but because you were supposed to be like toy size, they made the screws really big. And you know, it's just kind of nice to see that much attention to detail put in. Yeah. Also, Thunder Mountain was closed. I was upset about that. I wanted to go on Thunder Mountain. We went on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. Always nice. Fun fact, if you didn't know, the movie series, or at least the first movie, was inspired by the original ride in Disney World. So that's actually a really interesting ride to go on, because you think it will be movie based, but it's actually the other way around. We went from sunup to sundown, technically, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Not quite 10 p.m. because the last train that left to go back to the airport was at 9:50. So we decided to leave. So what I've been doing, every place that I go that's outside of London, I buy a postcard and I send it back to my family so that they can kind of, it's like they're coming with me on my little adventures, kind of. Anyways, I was waiting in line. Granted, it's 9:30, okay? I'm going to buy this postcard, go straight to the train station, a 2-minute walk away, buy a ticket, and go back to the airport to spend the night again because our plane is leaving tomorrow morning. Not important. And I go up, and I buy it, and I reach my pocket to check the time, and my phone is gone. So I am a very privileged person, okay? I will not pretend to know that a phone is really not hard for me and my family to replace. But I am a very sentimental person, and this was kind of like getting my best friend stolen. Not to degrade best friends by saying that my phone is my best friend, that's all I need in life. No, it's very familiar. I like the familiarity of it. I know where everything is, I know how it feels, I know how it works, I know its quirks, I know what it can give me and what it can't, what my limitations are. 3 of the main things that were the big issue when I was trying to figure out, okay, how do I live without a phone until I can get a replacement, was how do I get an alarm to wake up in the morning? How do I check the time? Because I'm so bad at feeling the way time progresses, I wouldn't be able to close my eyes or work on a paper, close my eyes, those kinds of things, and then know what time it is. I'm really bad at that. And 3 was keeping in contact with people. I'd have to be surgically glued to my computer with Wi-Fi at all times in order to be in contact with someone. And so I sat here for ages once we got home, contacting my parents and contacting Disney just to make sure it wasn't lost and got turned in. It wasn't, by the way. And, getting it all taken care of, because as soon as I go off to school for 4 hours, I can't talk to anyone. Actually, I could at University of Westminster because I can get on their Wi-Fi. So that happened. And as I said, I lost it, cried my eyes out because he's my buddy and I'll never see him again. It was, you tend to get, shocked. I mean, that was a part of your life and you invested in it, especially if you can't replace him. But even if you can, I mean, it's a heavy inconvenience. And so I also pent up stress. It felt really good to just bawl my eyes out because I had a legitimate excuse. We took the train back, slept at the airport, got on a plane at 7 in the morning, came back. I spent all of Sunday trying to get it taken care of. I spent about 2 pounds on an international call on Google Hangouts trying to get in touch with the lost and found at Disneyland just to make sure it still wasn't there. Insurance and trying to figure out how to get on my iCloud. It's been a crazy week. Just saying. And then to top it all off, this morning I went to the Foundling Museum with my Food and Globalization class, where we learned about how the foundlings were fed. Foundlings, if you don't know, so it's there's orphanages which take in people whose families have died. There's workhouses which take in kids whose families can't take care of them, and the foundlings were kind of in the middle. And this museum was about that organization, the hospital that took in small children, and we learned about what they ate because it's a food class. It was a pretty neat museum. If you're in London and you have a couple of hours, it's a nice quick walkthrough, an interesting look into a very specific part of British history, London history. Actually, there's foundling hospitals all over the world, including one in New York at one point. I don't think any of them are still open, but tangent. Blah, blah, blah. I went to a pub with friends afterwards because that's how we do. I bought this sweater and I came back, and that's been my week. So yes, it has been crazy, but I am all right, and I would much rather have my possessions stolen than my life taken. Jarred my voice. So it's all behind me. The insurance has gone through. My new phone is on the way, and my parents are gonna send it to me. Really and truly, I'm a very, very lucky person. Plus, my friend had a phone that she originally got at the beginning of the semester but no longer was going to use, that doesn't have a data plan with it, connects to Wi-Fi, has an alarm, has a way to like get on Messenger while it's connected to Wi-Fi. So I have this little doodad to get me through until I have one of my own. The only other thing of interest that happened in the past week, besides the amazing trip to Disney I had and the horrific experience of getting my phone stolen and figuring out how to get all that mess taken care of, was I got my absentee ballot sent to me. Don't know why I did that. I won't show you my actual ballot, also because I can't physically show you my actual ballot because I'll get in trouble. I have already sealed it in the envelope. Anyways, I am very excited to turn this in and to contribute to the political doings of my country. I mean, a lot of people are voting in this election for the presidential candidates, and I get that. It's a huge, important role, and it's in the whole news, but I actually got 2 ballots. One of them was referendum kind of legislation that was being put out to the people of Illinois. And then there was another ballot with not just the presidents, but senators, representatives, judges, all that jazz. And so it was kind of nice to sit down and fill out the whole thing and be like, I voted for my representation in the government, not just for the president. It felt good. If you are registered, which I really hope that you are, and eligible, you really should go out and vote, not just for the president. Please look into voting for the other representatives in your county, city, and state, as well as the legislation being passed in your state, because you have a voice and you deserve to put your voice out there for the way that your country is run. And this is one of the best ways to do it now. It's not the only way, obviously, to get your voice heard in this country, but it's a good way to get your voice heard in this country. Vote. Be careful of pickpocketers. Be appreciative of what you have. Enjoy a sweater every once in a while. And I'll see you next week.